Shalom, shalom, Israel. This is Brother Zahar once again. No Saint Left Behind. Coming to you with another lesson. Hope it can be edifying. Start off with saying Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Akar Kwadash. And double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. All right, let's get into this lesson. This right here is again, I done did a lesson on this before a couple of months ago when another so-called African was asking for apology for what the ancestors have done to the so-called Negroes, which would be Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, for selling us into the white man's hands, the Grecians, the so-called white men, the Edomites, you know, and we end up in America. And we've been here over 400 years. All right? So we're going to get into the slavery thing according to the Bible prophecies. You know? And let this thing do what it do. But I'm going to go ahead and play this. Give you something to listen to before we get into this thing.
We are very privileged to be with you, particularly our brothers and sisters from the Caribbean and the diaspora. And people from all over Africa, our brothers and sisters from all over Africa. I wish at this point to particularly to apologize deeply on behalf of the chiefs and people of Gold Coast and Ghana for the atrocities, the cruelty, the inhuman treatment that were committed 400 years ago by my ancestors.
He said the cruelty that his ancestors committed 400 years ago. Now, this is Ghana. In Ghana, you got a whole lot of, you know, Hebrews, Israelites in Ghana. You know, we scattered in the four corners of the world, but, you know, they came and snatched us off the west coast of Africa. And before we was over in you know, before the so-called white men had got us, you know, the Arabians, you know, your Muslims had us in captivity too, for a harsh captivity. You know, so we all scattered over it, all up through there. You know, and it's a lot of our people that's over in Ghana.
During the Atlantic slave trade, where over 400 years ago, millions of our brothers and sisters were captured, sold, and transported under inhumane and cruel circumstances.
He said many of our brothers and sisters, well, that's a lie, because we are not so-called Africans. So we are not brothers and sisters. You feel me? We are Hebrew Israelites. And he's talking about this thing happened over 400 years ago. So let's go get some prophecy. You know, let's go to Genesis 15, and I think it'll be 12. All right, and let's not get this confused right here. Okay, this is the angels. You know, the angel talking to Abraham. You know, and this was talking about our first slavery, which is in Egypt. But it also is also talking about the slavery that we're in now. And I'm going to bring that correlation together right here in a second. But let me read this. Genesis chapter 15, verse 12. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And lo, in horror, a great darkness fell upon him. So Abram was having a nightmare. All right, this was a horror of great darkness fell upon him. So this was a nightmare that he was having. So let's read about this nightmare. Verse 13. And he said unto Abram, all right, this is the angel talking to Abram, which a lot of us say is Yahweh Shah. Know of a certainty that thou seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. So he said seed. Do y'all know? Well, first of all, you got to understand what seed means. Seed means descendants or sperm. All right, because only the man has a seed. The woman doesn't have a seed. She doesn't have sperma. All right? Said that our seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs. All right, and so we ended up in Egypt. We was a stranger in that land that wasn't ours, but we also ended up in America. And I'll bring that correlation together in a minute. And it shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. So, you know, according to history, we've been here since 1619. You know, and so we pretty much been here 400 years. You know, that's just what they recorded. I'm pretty sure that we was here longer than that, because the first slaves really came from up in Europe. You know, during the time of the Moors, when they was so-called Moors was reigning. You know, during King James era. You know, when they called it the Dark Ages. You know, because you know dark people was ruling then. That was before the Renaissance area came in, before the so-called white men, the Edomites, got their power. So our people was already over here. You know, that's where the first slaves came from, up in that area, the European area. Okay, but that ship landed here in 1619. All right. Now let's bring some correlation into the Egyptian captivity and the American captivity. Let me show you why this is the same captivity. Because America is known as what? Spiritual Egypt, right? In Sodom. So let's get into this. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. It says, the thing that had been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. So what this is telling us is that everything that we're doing, we just replaying. We just replaying everything that we have did in our past life. See, it's hard for some people to realize this, because you got to believe in what? Reincarnation. And a lot of people don't believe in reincarnation. Matter of fact, let's just go over a couple chapters. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 6. And let me get this in there. It says, Ecclesiastes 6 and 7. I mean 10. That which had been is named already. So whatever was in the past is already named. Everything is named. There's nothing new. It is known that it is man. So that lets you know that man was named at the beginning, and man is already here again. So we keep coming back. That's what you call reincarnation. So that's why right here in verse 9, Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, it says, the thing that had been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. So if you was a wicked nigga in your past life, then you're going to be a wicked nigga in this life. You know, that's why, like, say, if you look at a kid, you're talking about they was born homosexuals. I mean, in actuality, they was born gay. Because in their past life, that's the kind of lifestyle that they lived. So they coming back in this life with that same lifestyle, because they got to be judged in this lifestyle. Okay, oh, man, I should have read that. Hold on. Well, matter of fact, because this is judgment. Ecclesiastes 3 and 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. And where we at? We're under the sun. So this is judgment. That wickedness was there. In the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. So this is where we at. So when you come into this life, back into existence in reincarnation, you coming back to live out to get your judgment. That's why babies get killed, get ate up by dogs, get shot 1, 2, 6 months old. You know, that's why people get ran over, people paralyzed, whatever the illness or sickness or whatever came upon them may be. That's a judgment from the Most High. But I don't want to get off track. And so we went to Egypt for 400 years. And so now America is known as what? Spiritual Egypt. That's why you have what? A pyramid on the back of your dollar bill. That's why you have the A-frame, the pyramid shape on every building or house or apartment in America. Verse 10. Is there anything where it may be said, see, this is new? It have been already of old time, which was before us. So it had already been. Only thing that we are in that's new is just this flesh. And it ain't really new because it came from the dust. You know, the dirt been old. So our spirit just in another flesh. We might be smaller, taller, darker, or lighter, fatter, or skinnier. You still who the Most High created in the beginning. For he created all men in the beginning, you know? And so that's the correlation with Genesis. We did 400 years in Egypt, and we're doing 400 years in Egypt again, which is America. Everything is replaying itself. Let's go back to this video.
through Elmina Castle across to the Caribbeans and to the New World. On behalf of the chiefs and people of Ghana,
he said through the Caribbeans into the New World. Now, that's a bold statement he just made. Because let's find out, that's a long way from the west coast of Africa. So let's go to Deuteronomy in 28 and see what he's talking about. Because everything he's talking about is in the word, man. Everything you're going to go through in your life is in his word. He says, therefore, this is Deuteronomy 28:48. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. So we serving our enemies right now in this captivity that we're in, because if you want any kind of food, which is hunger, you got to go to the so-called, who get it? So-called white men, the Edomites. And in thirst and in naked. If you're thirsty or if you need clothing, you got to go to the Edomites to get it, the so-called white men. And in want of all things, anything that you want in this land, you got to go to who? Your enemy and get it, which is the so-called white men, the Edomites. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. And that's why a lot of y'all niggas love this place, man, because y'all destroyed. You know, he put a yoke of iron upon your neck. He only took it off when he knew you was mentally destroyed. That's why y'all stuck in Christianity, Islam, Pan-Africanism, and flat earth and all this bullshit. All right, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar. See, well, everybody's taking credit. They taking too much credit that they did this to us. Really, they didn't do this to us. Yahweh, the Most High, did this to us. He just used them to do it because we went off. You know, let me go right here right quick. We went off, man, and we did what Moses said, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy Yahweh, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And so we didn't do that. And so we've been overtaken by these curses. And you niggas still want to eat pork, shrimp, crab legs, still want to eat these unclean foods. You women still want to wear pants and show your camel toes and show revealing clothes. You still want to jump from men to men. You men still want to try to deal with other men's women. You know, you want to be homosexuals. So y'all still don't want to keep the commandments. And that's why you're going to burn here in America, or you're going to die a tragedy death, a terrifying death. Verse 49 again. The Lord Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from afar, which was America. You know, the so-called white men. From the end of the earth, that's where the west is. This is the west. We're at the end of the earth. They came from here to the east. I mean, they came from the west to what, the east, the west coast of Africa on the east, in the east part of the world, to get us. As swift as an eagle flieth. What's America's symbol? The eagle. The same symbol Rome had. The same symbol all Edomite kingdoms had. And not only that, didn't the Egyptians have the eagle bird? Was that an eagle? But they had a bird looked like an eagle. So it lets you know that America is spiritual Egypt. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. We didn't understand their tongue. They beat our language out of us and fed us their language. That's why we couldn't understand the word. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. And so they didn't care if you was old, blind, crippled, crazy. They still raped you, robbed you, killed you, hung you, and did what they wanted to do with you. All right, let's get some more of this video in.
I do render unqualified apology, deep from the bottom of our hearts. Deep from our bottom of our hearts. But one thing that I want you to be aware of, it was not without resistance. Some of our chiefs did fought and resisted. Some of our people did fought and resisted. But we are fighting a losing battle against a stronger army. People with guns, and we had no guns. They deceived us with liquor and all other temptations. Whatever the circumstances that led us to us, we stand here to render apology. And it's my wish and prayer that this apology is accepted. Is accepted deep by our brothers and sisters from the diaspora. May the blood of Jesus assist us to overcome that evil, that never again.
He talking about may the blood of Jesus. That's a white man. Yahweh Shai is going to fuck these Africans up. Excuse my French. You know. But Yahweh Shai, he's coming to, man, I'm telling you, he's coming to work a number on these people, man. For what they did. You know, the word told us, touch not the apple of the Most High's eye, man. They touched us. You know, they rounded, the Africans rounded us up for the so-called white men. The Arabians built the boats, built the ships. They rounded us up too. You know? So, I mean, they got to pay for what they done, man. Let's go here right quick. Let's go to Romans. They got to pay for what they done. Everybody, man. Romans 15:4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. So, about the 400 years of Egypt and what we went through and was written about was written for our learning, because what we was going to go through it again. That through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So the Most High was telling us that even though we went to Egypt and did this 400 years, that we was going to do it again. It was written for aforetime. It was written for our learning, man. So there's nothing new under the sun. And we went through it again, man. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 3:15. And it says, that which had been is now, and that which is to be had already been. And Yahweh required that which is past. So, I mean, we're doing this thing all over again. It's just Egypt being replayed all over again, man. Because if you look right here in Deuteronomy 28:68, Moses told us what was going to happen if we didn't keep the law, statutes, commandments. It says, Deuteronomy 28:68, and the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. First time we walked into Egypt. So that lets you know that this Egypt thing was going to be replayed again for another 400 years. Because we didn't go back into Egypt with ships. And this was after we came out of Egypt. Moses told us this. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And that was our homeland. We never seen our homeland again. We the only nation on the earth who don't have a homeland. Like the so-called Negroes in America, which is the tribe of Yahudah, Judah. You know, we every other so-called tribe, every other tribe got like a little piece of land that they living in, except Judah, the American blacks, so-called Negroes in America. You know, the so-called tribe of Levi got Haiti, Benjamin got Jamaica, Issachar got Mexico, Manasseh got Cuba, Ephraim got Puerto Rico. But the word tells us that in Genesis 49 that Judah's hand was going to be in the neck of the enemy. And so that's America. But the Most High is going to take us back to our, Yahweh Shai is going to take us back to our land. He said, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. We were sold unto our enemies, so-called white men, for slave men and slave women. And no man shall buy you, and nobody bought us. I mean, that means delivered us. That's Yahweh Shai job, and that's coming up soon. So the word told you that we was going to go back into Egypt. And it's just been replayed all over again, man. That's it. It's been replayed all over again. What was that? Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. It says, that which had been is now, and that which is to be had already been. And Yahweh required that which is past. And so to show you what he mean by he required that which was past, that means you're not going to get away with what you done to the so-called Negro, Hispanic, and Negro American, which are the 12 tribes of Israel, you know, the chosen people. All right? And it says, Revelations 13:9, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity should go into captivity. So these so-called Africans are going to go into slavery, man. They're going into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. And all the nations that had a hand in us been killed and murdered, they're going to be killed and murdered too. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. The word said we're supposed to have faith and patience for this. So nobody's going unpunished. Believe that.
Never again should we witness this cruelty, this inhuman cruelty of man to man in this country. I thank you, and once again, on behalf of the chiefs and people of Ghana, we do render this apology, and I ask my colleague to add a few words to what I have said to you, and it's my wish and prayer that in the name of the blood of Jesus, you do accept our apology. Thank you very much.
We stand here once again.
So, I mean, that's just it, man. Everybody, won't forgiveness, man. They back at it again because everybody know that the Bible, the scriptures are true. They know that Yahweh Shai is on his way back. That's why the white man and Edomites are preparing to have war with the angels. You know, that's why Trump wanted the sixth branch to the military. You know, a space army. So everybody want to apologize, you know, but the Most High don't deal with words, man. He deal with actions. And it's too late for apologies now. The scriptures have been fulfilled. And so they must continue to be fulfilled. And so when the Messiah, the Hamashiach Yahweh Shai return, I'm sorry. That's your ass, Mr. Postman. And I'm going to finish with that. Shalom.